For more on all of the developments, but most notably this incredible sweep here in New York City and Mamdani flexing his muscle, we are joined by Democratic strategist James Carville. James, great to have you on the show. So the headline in the Axios headline this morning says, "Socialist earthquake leaves Democrats reeling." One Democratic lawmaker said, "Holy shit, S-H-I-T, buckle up." A Democratic strategist said, quote, "We will not stand by as our party contemplates writing this road to ruin." Are they just all, is this hysterical reaction, or are they right?
This is 90% hysterical reaction. It's 3 seats in New York City. Okay, come on, let's get real. And by the way, 2 of them I don't think are even Democrats. This Chevalier lady, they should not seat her in the caucus. Her views are totally against anything that any Democrat has. We believe in pluralism. She doesn't even believe in interracial dating.
Yeah.
I mean, who would? I don't think there's a place in the party. By the way, I'm not sure she wants to be a Democrat. Go do something else. Form your own party.
Yeah, you're talking about Dario Lisa Chevalier. She wants to abolish ICE. She at one point wanted to abolish police. She wanted to abolish all deportations of anyone, anywhere. In past social media posts, she called veterans war criminals, called President Biden a rapist, said COVID came from France, not China. Who is this person? And she just unseated an incumbent Democrat.
She is not a Democrat. Okay, that is pretty clear. And frankly, I think a lot of Democrats feel like I do. I don't have any problem, just no washed-up consultant, but I wouldn't seat her. This is not who we are. And we should just say, look, you duly elected, have your seat in Congress, but you're not getting any committee assignments when the Democrats get the majority. And by the way, as Jamie Harrison, the former Democratic chair, said, all of these people hate Democrats. Why do you want to run as a Democrat? Start your own movement. If it's such a powerful, sweeping movement that's got momentum everywhere, then go ahead and be at the head of it. Don't use the Democratic Party to advance it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any interest in it.
The animating force behind all 3 of these Mamdani-backed candidates is a real strong anti-Israel ideology. At that party where they were chanting "You're next" to Hakeem Jeffries, they were also chanting "Free, free Palestine." You know, they weren't chanting free healthcare or free, you know, I'm just... They were chanting free Palestine. And Congressman Goldman, who lost his seat last night, warned that anti-Semitism will be the undoing of our democracy. Is he right?
Well, it's disgusting, okay? And you got to be careful not to conflate 2 things. You can be hugely anti the policies of the government of Israel, which I would certainly describe myself as one. But when you say, I don't think Israel should exist, then I don't have room for you. I have all the room in the world to criticize Israeli policies, to criticize the settlements, which I think were stupid, ignorant to start with, and they continue to be. They can criticize whether or not they reacted strategically to October the 7th. That's all fine. That's all fine. But once you start, and you can be as critical as you want of the government, but when you start to, like, they don't have to exist, or you run against the concept of Jewish people, then you got no place at my table. I can tell you that. I'd rather go to post without you and take my chances than go to post with you, which I'd still be taking my chance. I think the smart political move is not to seat these people. Or some of them, you want to be like Brad Lawton. I'm okay. I like Dan Goldman. I would have voted for him, but the guy's okay. He's left of me, but that's okay. He described himself as a liberal Zionist, which I would almost describe myself as. But you got to draw the line here somewhere. And it's going to take a definitive reaction, I think, from some of the party elders. And it's just a really urban, concentrated movement, mostly in New York. You got some...
It's on the West Coast, too, up in Michigan.
Like that. Okay, yeah, a little bit, but Michigan maybe. A long way to go. But I don't think there's a place for anti-Semitism in the Democratic, but we're not anti-anything. That's why we're Democrats. We're not anti-interracial dating. We're not anti-Muslim. We're not anti-anything. That's the kind of people we are. And when you ask us to be anti-something, the answer should be we're not going there.
But when you look at what some of these constituents are actually saying and doing. I mean, they do sound very anti-Israel. They are conflating, disagreeing with Netanyahu and Israeli policies with the Jewishness per se.
Look, I think they're wrong. They're also entitled to their opinion. I mean, the Constitution, free speech protects them. To be seated in the Democratic caucus is quite something else. And I think that we should look and see it. And just ask them not to use our party's name. Use your own name. Be as anti-anything as you want. You can just go nuts in your anti-ness, but just don't invoke the name of the Democratic Party in doing that, because you're really hurting the United States in the end.
Well, as we said, it's not just anti-Semitism; it's a whole host of other policies. We just heard President Trump
anti-law enforcement, anti-military,
right? Abolish ICE, abolish prisons.
Right. Some guy like a person who illegally commits a felon. We shouldn't deport him. No, put him in jail, then deport him. I mean, a felon is a felon. I don't have any sympathy for them. But these people are really out there, and a lot of people feel like I do. We just don't want to be in the same political party with them.
Do you think this endangers?
I hope they feel the same way about me.
Do you think that this endangers Democrats' hopes for taking control back of the House or even the Senate?
This is happening in the middle of a lost war. Okay, this is happening in the middle of the 4 Republicans, which was a huge story, bolting from Trump on the war. But the big story is going to be is Saturday night in Louisiana. Because if Fleming, who Trump, not to be complicated, but 2 MAGA Republicans running, one is Trump endorsed, the one is not. If the one that was not Trump endorsed, that's going to send a huge signal that Trump is losing his hold on his MAGA base. This is going to be a very, very significant election, and no one has caught on to it. And I don't say that because I'm from Louisiana. By the way, I saw Senator Cassidy, and everybody knows him. He is a very modest, moderate, polite man, and what it took him to get there was
Not in today's Senate lunch, apparently.
I know. Yeah, I think anybody that knows him would say a lot of care. But the race to fill his seat, that result Saturday night is critical for President Trump, because that's critical for his hold on his base.
But bottom line, James,
the guy that he didn't endorse, excuse me, go ahead.
I'm just bottom line. Most Americans are not far right or far left.
No,
they're right in the middle. No. And what are they to do if they're thinking, hold on, none of these people represent or speak for me?
I think we got to win elections, and you win elections, that cures everything. But you go out, and I think we're going to win this election. I think by and large, you're right, the country is not extreme. I certainly would describe myself as left of center easily, maybe economically even more left of center. If you look at that piece that Senator Warren and Senator Moreno, a Republican from Ohio, wrote, that's the most progressive thing I've ever heard. If you really want to do something about inequality in the United States, and you want to do something about saving entitlement funds, read that. I think it was in Monday's Times. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, Senator Bernie Moreno, Republican of Ohio. It's the most stunning thing I've ever read. And no one has caught on to what it would do. It would make our tax system so much more just and fair, and raise about $3 trillion. And we could do a lot with that. And that's now. I hope Democrats talk about that.
Yeah, rather than abolish everything and, free Palestine. Yeah.
It's insane. I got no time for these people. But I got time to talk to you anytime. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, James. Really appreciate it. Take care.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.